Joining me now is Simon Juncker from the German Institute for Economic Research, the DIW Berlin. Thank you very much for coming in. Simon, first of all, why is there so much opposition to this bridging deal? Because, I mean, isn't it time that the Greek government needs? It's a new government, no political experience, and Varoufakis has asked for that time to come up with a plan.
That's a good point, but on the other hand, you really have these rules that the Greek government is obliged to follow, and the Troika really needs to make sure that these rules are obligatory for the Greek government.
What sort of position financially is the Greek government in at the moment?
Well, they do have a primary surplus, which allows them to cover for their expenses by their income from taxes and stuff like that. But that's except from interest payments. So they have to think about ways to service their debt.
So they are in a position to service their debt at the moment without international help? Is that what you're saying?
No, they can come up with the expenses that they have, like rent payment, pension payments and stuff like that. They can cover all their expenses except interest payments.
But as far as growth goes, Greece is in quite a good position. If you look at Q4 2014, they're among the best performers in the Eurozone, 0.7%.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think the problem is really that the Greek economy is structurally in a very bad position, and the fact that the Greek government was elected, the new government was elected, reflects very well the idea that there was too little reform and that the inequality in the country was not addressed previously.
So would you say Greece is only just keeping its head above water, basically, economically? One of the reasons why it has a little bit of cash there in its coffers is that wages have been falling. So would you say it's the Greeks who've been feeling the brunt of this and they want austerity to be over?
I think the problem is that it's very unequal, the austerity effects felt in the country. So you have this oligarchy, which is kind of not really feeling the pain of the adjustment, but who reap the benefits before the crisis. And now the common people have to pay for that. And I think that's what's really upsetting people.
And that's what the Greek government is now actually proposing, helping out the poor by taking a bit from the rich. How do you see this actually playing out? Because it doesn't look like the Greeks are going to get any concessions.
I mean, structural reforms in Greece is a very different thing from getting concessions from the Troika, which is like they want something that they put on a table to see that the money that they lend to Greece is really put to good efforts. And so hoping that they really come to what they promised during the election campaign, like combating tax evasion and corruption, I mean, that would be a major step forward already.
The chances of a Grexit are 35%. What does our expert think? Simon, what do you think?
Yes, I think these figures should be taken seriously, and this is quite a substantial risk that they cannot come up to an agreement currently, given the hard rhetorics of the government. But I doubt that this is really what they want.
And if you take a look at the market reaction, I mean, it's been quite volatile, especially banking stocks in Greece have taken a real battering.
Yes, sure. I mean, if the risk is increasing, which is suddenly playing out from day to day, then this is a quite natural reaction to have capital leaving the country.
A lot of people would say an overreaction as far as markets go. What about the reaction from the people, though? Because deposits are constantly leaving Greek banks.
Yeah, it's the same problem. If Greek really would be forced to exit, then the new currency, the drachma, would devaluate massively, and then all these people would lose quite a lot of money.
And what would the consequences be for the rest of the Eurozone, do you think? Do you describe it as a house of cards like the finance minister does?
No, I don't think so, because they are much less intertwined financially nowadays, much less than they were a couple of years ago. But it's even worse for Greece. So it's really not a role model for other countries to leave the euro.
Simon Juncker, thank you very much for your analysis.
You're welcome.